Hi, everybody. I have been on live for 50 seconds and I'm still waiting. I see one person in the room and I see one like. So I am going to talk a little bit until people come in. And thank you, T, for being here and just listening. I can't seem to figure out how to chat with people. That's my current dilemma. And there we go. Hi, Aslan. I can see some chats. Oh, so okay, I see two people here and I can see some chats. So I am learning how to read the chats here. I just do not know. Please forgive me. I'll get better with every live. But I'm trying to figure out how to chat back. And that's the part that I haven't quite figured out yet. Nope, chat filters. Okay. Well, I'm going to start by talking about, oh, I see three people are here. Well, as you know, I'm getting more comfortable with this. And so, what I'm going to talk about today are channels that I like. And I have so many channels because I've been watching YouTube for so many years that I can only talk about, let's say, 5 in any given live. Because I really want to tell everybody how I came to be FIRE with Dr. Ninja Turtle. I watch a lot of financial independence YouTube channels. And not only that, I also watch health YouTube channels because I deal with prediabetes. And now, lately, my cholesterol is high. I am really into health. And now I eat a plant based diet, which has been in the past year or two that I've moved to a plant based diet. And so, one point I want to make is that health is wealth. And so, I will talk about channels that, and I could read the chats, but I will talk about channels. I'm hoping that more people will chat because I see 10 people or 16 people, 13 people in. So please come into the chat and T is a moderator. Let me see if I can make Aslan a moderator. There we go. There we go. So I have done something here with this live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about channels that I like. And I'm giving it a few minutes for people to come in. We've been on for about 4 minutes. And so one of the things that I always end my videos with is never let your past determine your future. And the reason that I say that is because my past, if you look at my past, you would say this person should not be where they are today. And that's because I took very small steps. And one of those small steps was going to college. When I started, I went to college. I did not say, well, I'll just go and get a PhD. That wasn't it at all. What I did was, I was in my mid-30s, and I said, I have failed at going to college so many times that all I want to do is pass one college class just to prove to the world that I could have gone to college. And that's how I started in college. I started very small, and it's the same with finances. You start very small. You start from where you are. I started with negative credit cards. I started with a car repossession. I had nothing when I started my financial journey, and I had to build it one itty bitty bit at a time. So going back to my going to college, I took one class at a time. I paid out of pocket, and it took me 7 years to get a 2-year college degree, one class at a time. because I had failed so many times in the past at trying to go to college or just trying to take one class, I just was scared to take more than one class because I said, if I fail, then I'm done. I'm going to stop. I'm never going to college, and that's it. So I took the one class and I passed the one class. Then I took one more class and I passed the one more class. Well, then I started thinking that I want to get straight A's because I had heard of other people going to college and getting straight A's in college. So after 7 years, I got a 2-year college degree and I had a little more confidence. So for my bachelor's degree, I took 2 classes and then I went 3 classes and then I started going to college full time. Now I'm working full time and I've got a side hustle going on. So my life is full, right? And one of the things that I'll mention is I didn't own a TV for over 25 years because I was so focused on what it was I was trying to do. I was trying to go to college and get good grades. I don't type well, so I failed typing once, and so I had to take that class again. So it takes me a long time to type papers, whereas other people can type them up in a couple of hours. It takes me all day. And so therefore, I focused all of my time and energy on getting straight A's going through college, but it took me a lot of hours every single day. When I wasn't working on going to college, I was working a second job, or I was fixing up a rental property. So I was always doing something in addition to doing my homework, but my homework took precedence. It took precedence over going out and hanging out with friends on weekends. I will tell you guys, on holidays, I worked every single holiday because I thought that was my chance to get ahead of those people that were out barbecuing. That's just how I looked at life, is I need an extra edge to get ahead. So that's my story about me going to college. And so again, it took me 18 years to get a PhD. I started in my mid-30s. I didn't finish until I was 55. So this is not one of those things where you have to do it when you're young. I had a picture on my office wall of this guy who was in his 90s getting his high school diploma. It's never too late to go to school. It never, ever. You can go back to school if you already have a master's degree. I have a associate's degree, bachelor's degree, 2 master's degrees, and a PhD. But all of that, again, took 18 years. And so anyway, I'm very proud of going through all of that, but it was a long process, right? And one of the things that you guys should see is that I didn't just arrive here with financial literacy. Not that I know it all. I do not. And one of the things that we're going to talk about on this Friday Live is financial literacy, because this is now called Finance Fridays. And I want to thank Kendi K for giving me that name, because when she said it in a short, I said, that is an excellent name for my Friday Lives. It's going to be Friday Finance. Then earlier today, as I woke up, people are talking about having community names, right? Now, I'm never going to have memberships. I'm never going to sell merch. I'm never going to do any of those things. But I woke up this morning thinking about, what would I call my community? This wasn't even a thought a week ago. Well, I woke up this morning and I thought of Finatics, right? Financial independence. Well, I went and looked on YouTube, and there was a guy who had a channel called Fanatic. This guy has 900,000 subscribers. So I said, well, that word is not going to work. You know, I cannot believe somebody has 900,000 subscribers on YouTube. And so anyway, what I came up with And I'm going to go with this because I went through different things about being the CEO of your finances. And I like that. I like being the CEO of your finances, but that doesn't quite cover it. I teach my students to be business owners. And so that's what I'm going to call everybody in my community. You are owners. You are owners of your life. You have an internal locus of control, which says you get to design your life the way you want your life to be. Yes, we all work to 9 to 5 and we all work for other people that tell us what to do, but that's 9 to 5. After 5 p.m., your life is yours to own and design as you wish. And that's how I got to financial independence. I got here by working after the 9 to 5, going to college after the 9 to 5, working a side hustle after the 9 to 5, working weekends after the 9 to 5. All of those things, I was designing my own life. And that's what I want everybody in my community to do. Design the life that you want. So I'm going to see if I can see any more chats. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now I can see the chats. Let me see. Okay. I see DeFam Adventures and Life with T is in here. I'm sorry, I'm just learning how to do this. Hi, Trina. Trina, I found through T, who is doing a budget challenge, and she does cash stuffing. And so it's Trina, Hippies, Puppies, Kitten, and Kittens Budgets. And part of this whole Finance Fridays is not only budget challenges, it's not only cash stuffing type videos that we talk about, it's anything finance related. So we are all going to teach each other. This is not me. We call this in college being the sage on the stage, where the professor just stands up there and just spouts stuff out from the textbook. That's not this, and I've never taught that way. I have my students teach me. And so in this community, on these lives, we're all going to teach each other how to become better with our finances. So I know a little bit, but I am always learning. So I'm going to do something which I forgot to do when this started, which is I have a ring light. I'm going to turn it on and see how much brighter I am, because my phone, this should have been turned on at the beginning, and next week we'll have it on at the beginning. So let's see what happens here. Well, that was something, but I don't know that that's better than it was. Somebody in the chat tell me if that lighting is better than it was. Okay, so okay, Kendi K, she has adopted me and is teaching me YouTube, just so y'all know, okay? And so she told me to leave the light on. And so we're gonna leave the light on. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna get right into what it was because I ramble, as you all can tell. I'm going to get into the channels that I wanna talk about this week. So, this, I also made a note of this, which I talked about when Kendi K interviewed me on Monday. So you guys have to all go watch that Kendi K interview of me, because that was really me stepping out of my comfort zone. But one of the things that I said in there that I want to keep repeating is live on less, invest the rest. If you don't do anything else, keep your finances that simple. Live on less than you make, and you're already winning financially if you do that. I did not always do that. Whenever I got a pay raise, I bought a brand new car because I thought, and this is culture, this is what society tells us, is it's the kind of car you drive. You know, I worked for a federal court in Miami, and everybody down there had Porsches, and I would pull up in my Honda Accord and a Rolls Royce would pull up next to me. So I was always thinking I need a better Honda Accord. So I went from 4-cylinder to 6-cylinder, right? And I've had 6-cylinder Honda Accords all these years, and I still have a 6-cylinder Honda Accord. They no longer make the kind of car that I have, so I'm not selling my car. The other part to that is that car is paid off, so I'm not having any more car payments. That is a new thing for me. I'm always learning, I'm always growing. So first, I want to talk about the channels that I talked about in my live on 5:30. That was the end of May, because I was not actually live. Some of you know I messed up and I did not have it open to the public. It was some kind of an unlisted private live. This live was scheduled, and when I clicked on it, it automatically opened to the public. So I'm glad that I've learned how to schedule a live and how to have it automatically open to the public. So I'll keep doing that. Now, having said that, next week, it's going to be a little bit earlier. I'm going to stay with 10:15 Central Time, normally. However, next week I have to go out of town on a trip, so I'm going to be leaving at about 10:15 a.m. Central Time. So my live next week will probably be at 9:15 a.m. Central Time, and I will create the live, I will create the notice, and I will put the notice out on my community board, because I'm starting to get a little bit good at this, which is unbelievable. Kendi reminded me yesterday was my 1 year on YouTube. So it's taken me almost a year to go live. It's taken me almost a year to get comfortable talking to you all in front of the camera. And so Tidy Twins mom is here. I'm trying to look at the camera and read the chat. So I'm going to get better at that as the weeks progress. And so thank you, Kendi K, for putting that in the chat. So I want to mention, because my first live, which people could watch the replay, but nobody was actually in there, I talked about channels that I watch on YouTube. And I've been watching YouTube for many, many years, long before I ever got on YouTube. And so a few years ago, I'm driving around the country visiting friends, because it was one of those fun things to do that I've never done. So once I retired early, I got in my car and I just drove, and I met friends in Wyoming, and I went to South Dakota and met friends that I'd never met before. And so I just drove the country. But as I was driving the country, I came across this channel, Happy on Monday. And her name is Julie, and she had just retired. And so I've been watching her for a few years. And her channel just grew, it blew up. I mean, my channel tiny, her channel getting much, much bigger. But she has fabulous content. She's a teacher who retired. I'm still a teacher, so I connected with her on that level. She's frugal with her money. She paid off her house. And so all of these things I connect with. I do not have a paid off house, but I love people that do have a paid off house. That is a whole lot of freedom in retirement, and I understand why people do that. Life with T, she's in here, and I connected with her on so many different levels, right? So these were some of my first favorite channels on YouTube. She talks about finance, but she also talks about overcoming, right? Because remember, we all have a past. Some of us, our pasts are harder to overcome than others, right? I was sitting in a homeless shelter. You could not have told me someday you'll be a college professor, and you couldn't even pass one college class. So there's no way that someone could have designed my life the way that my life has turned out. So the Money Guy Show, I talked about them in that they are like the Dave Ramsey Show. They have 500,000 subscribers, and I watch them constantly because they talk about doing finances correctly. I didn't start on my finances until I was in my 40s. Really, seriously, start, bearing down. So I'm playing a lot of catch up now that I'm in my 60s. But they talk about starting in your 20s, right? And Kendi K, she did this. She started being financially responsible in her 20s. See, people can do it. People can live a good life. And that's what this channel is about. This channel is about, don't wait until your 40s or 50s to start getting your finances together. Start right now. Wherever you are, whatever age you are, get your finances together right now. And it will get better over time. And that's what's happened to me. You know, I picked up one rental property, then I picked up another rental property, and then people showed me how to use my rental properties to buy other rental properties. I didn't know that. One of the bankers that was loaning me money, he said, "Hey, Daryl, you've got equity in this rental property. You could use that as a down payment on another rental property." I had a mentor, he's an unofficial mentor, right? And what he does tons of real estate, right? He's been doing it for a lot of years, like flipped 500 properties, that kind of a guru guy. And what he said was, take your side hustle income and use that to invest in rental properties. So your 9 to 5 is just to pay your bills, but your side hustle income, and now a lot of people have YouTube as their side hustle income, you could use that to invest in the stock market. You don't have to invest in real estate. I'm pro real estate, but a lot of people invest in the stock market, and that's great. You know, I totally understand that. So that's what I got from the Money Guy show. I went off on a tangent. The Cronson family, another young lady on YouTube. One, she showed me how to use that OBS software that's free that I use to show you my finances that I've been doing the last few weeks, that I'm trying to live on $900 a month. Do I have more than $900 a month coming in? Absolutely. Just because you have it coming in does not mean that that's what you have to spend. One of the things about me is I choose how much I spend in my life. Now, I spend a lot of money sometimes and go on, let's say, lavish trips, right? We'll say that. And Kindy K, when she was talking last night on her live about going to Greece, right? I am wearing my favorite shirt, which is my Turks and Caicos shirt. And so I've been to Turks and Caicos, right? That was a lavish trip. But the point is, normally day to day, I don't spend a lot of money. Some people do spend a lot of money normally day to day, and they enjoy their life the way they enjoy their life. I am a financial minimalist where I don't spend money day to day. However, I dropped $8,000 into a sound system for my motorcycle. Okay, so I will drop some money. This is not, he does not spend money. It's just, I just don't spend it every single day, right? And I love the sound system on my motorcycle. It gives me great joy. And my motorcycle probably is worth $8,000. So I put a lot more into it, you know, than I should have. However, that was a gift to myself. And that's what I do. If it's my birthday, if it's some other special occasion, I will buy myself a nice gift. So that was the Cronson family. Now, let me tell you about her again. I'm going back and rehashing everything I did on my other live where I should have been live. But she's a young lady in her 30s, and she is a software engineer. She's wanting to retire early, so her and her husband spend very little money. They pay a lot on their debts. They're trying to pay down their house, and they live in a high cost of living area. But both her and her husband are committed for her to be able to retire early and spend more time with her child. And that's the beauty of designing your own life, is that you get to decide what's important to you. I heard a YouTuber yesterday talk about calculating the hours that she spends away from her dog at work. And she wants to spend more time at home with her dog. So financial independence is whatever it is that you design for yourself. And no, don't let anyone else tell you what they think you should do. It's totally up to you. I walk in my yard and I pick up sticks, and I have a burn barrel out there, and I love starting fires. That's just me, right? My next door neighbor, after we moved here, my next door neighbor showed me how to burn in a burn barrel. Ever since then, I'm a pyromaniac. So on sunny days, I'm out in my yard picking up sticks and burning them in the burn barrel. The ashes from the burn barrel go to my wife's garden. And so she's got a garden, and it just grew all over this house. I mean, it's just huge out there. But I put the ashes in the garden and it helps her soil. So everybody wins. I get the exercise of walking in my yard, and I have about 3 acres cleared, right? So I can get out there and rake. I can just walk around with a big garbage can and pick up sticks and throw it in the garbage can, take it down, dump it in the burn barrel. That's my idea of a beautiful life. Or I can get on my motorcycle with my nice sound system and ride around town and raise money for charity. Okay, so that's how I've designed my life. Everyone gets to design whatever they think is fabulous. Now, for Kathy at the Cronson family, she wants to spend time with her daughter when she's young, and that is fabulous. The Retire Mentality channel. This is a guy that I found on YouTube that has this t-shirt, and he had this red t-shirt, and what it said was FIRE, which is Financial Independence, Retire Early. He has his t-shirt say Financial Independence, Recreational Employment. That's a whole nother definition. So I have recreational employment. I teach, but I teach on my time frame. I can come in from picking up sticks in my yard and sit down and go in a discussion with students or grade papers. I could do it at 1 o'clock in the morning. I could do it in a hotel. I could do it while I'm traveling the country. I can drive all over this country and still, when I get to a hotel in the evening, get online with my students and interact with my students. That kind of freedom is the freedom that I'm looking for. I talked about being in Belize. I went to Belize. Anytime I take my laptop and I have internet, I'm good. I was grading students in Belize. I was teaching students in Belize. So I was teaching while on the beach. And behind my laptop, I was looking at the ocean out there. It was beautiful. And I thought I would love to retire to a country like Costa Rica or something like that, where I could teach from the beach. Everybody has their dreams. And what he did, he has 5 rental properties in South Florida. Well, actually, northern Florida on the Panhandle, but at any rate, it's south of me. So he has 5 rental properties. He just bought a house in the mountains of Spain. His wife is Spanish, and they have a house in Puerto Rico. They had a house in the Virgin Islands. Now, his rental properties are all paid off, and they fund his lifestyle. He sold 1 rental property, so I believe he probably had 6, so he's got 5 left. But he sold 1 and used the profit from that 1 sale to pay cash for this house in the mountains of Spain. And now his YouTube channel is coming from his mountain place in Spain. Everybody can live the life they design. That's why I watch all these various different channels, because these people all have a different perspective. Just like me, I have a different perspective than all of these people. So then I talked about 713 Skywalker, his channel. He's only putting out YouTube shorts. I haven't seen any long form content, and I almost never see his face. He does lawn care, and so he puts out shorts of him doing lawn care, but he has music like from Parliament, Funkadelic, and all the music that I like on his shorts. And he really supports my channel. So I'm out supporting people that are supporting my channel. And even if they don't support my channel, I'm out supporting people, because some people are huge YouTube channels and they don't have time to come to my little tiny channel. But I love the content that they put out. The last one that I talked about, and I'm going way long into this, but the last one that I talked about on my first live is Money Conversations. And she is a stay-at-home mom in Nebraska. And she manages the money in her family and keeps her family financially solvent even though there's only one income and they have, I don't know how many children, but they have multiple children. So she gets on YouTube and she talks about finances, and she talks about how to manage finances as a stay-at-home mom. See, there is no requirement that everybody has to have a job. She manages her household. That is what her value is, and that's her job. So she brings value to the family, much more maybe than going out and working. So that's why I support her channel. Again, she's a small YouTube channel, and I support a lot of small YouTube channels because I'm a small YouTube channel. So those were them. So now I'm finally, we're 31 minutes in. I'm finally getting to, and I can't read the chat. I'm sorry, everybody. Gloria Wright is here. So she says, Black power in all major areas of human activity. And so I'm trying to read the chat, but I'm also just trying to look at the screen and just talk, because this is the first real live that I've done, and I'll get better at these. So the first one this week is Miranda, and her channel is, and all of these channels that I listed, the other ones that I listed from 5:30 are in the description of my last live. The ones I'm talking about today will be in the description of this live. They're already there because when I pre-built this live, I was able to build it like a video. So it already has a description. I was able to put in the poll, which I hope some people have answered, but I was able to put in the poll before this live even started, just in case somebody out there is a new YouTuber. If you set up your YouTube live in YouTube, now I had to do this on my computer, not necessarily on the phone, but within YouTube Studio on the computer, I could set it up just like a regular video and put in the title. I could put in the thumbnail. I could put in all the stuff before the live even started. So I've learned that much. So I'm going to do that in the future. So her channel is at a July Dreamer. Miranda is a young lady in England, and she has, I think, 3 rental properties. She also has a job which pays her very well. And so what she's doing is she used some of the equity in her primary residence to buy a rental property. And now I believe she has 3 rental properties. And so I watch her channel because, again, here is a young lady doing, she may be near 40. She's in her 30s, we'll say that. And she is doing life right. She is doing all the right things. And she loves to travel. That's her thing. And again, everyone gets to design their life the way they want to live it. Her big thing is travel. And she has a budget for travel. She comes on and she shows her finances. She talks about her net worth. She talks about all of these things that I was afraid to talk about in my finances. And one of the things that I connected with her about, and I sent her a message, is I started a new spreadsheet. In the past, I created a spreadsheet, and it took me many, many years, and I just kept adding to my spreadsheet and adding as I got more rental properties, as my finances changed. I kept adding to this spreadsheet. Well, it was this huge spreadsheet that nobody except me could understand. And so she had a spreadsheet that she showed, and I asked her, I said, where'd you get yours? So I bought the spreadsheet that she has, and that's what I use now. I've had to modify it, of course, because there is no spreadsheet that is going to go to the level of detail that I want with my finances. So I had to modify the spreadsheet that she showed me that she bought on Etsy. But I use the same spreadsheet that she uses now. And I love it. It took me 6 months, and then I had to start over because I messed up the spreadsheet. So I started over. I went back 6 months, re-input my finances for the last 6 months, and now I have a functional spreadsheet that I have not blown up with all of my customization. So it took me a while. But I wanted to read what she said about her channel. It says, "Hi, I am Miranda, and welcome to Budget with a July Dreamer. I am also solo traveler, a blogger, a lover of Moscato wine, and a property and stock market investor, and a saving fanatic. I first became consumer debt free in 2017 when I paid off £12,000, British pounds, in credit card and payday loan debts. Then in 2020, I made a decision to become a property investor." And so she said, read that as being she created new debt after becoming debt free. "And since then, I've purchased 3 rental properties, even more debt, and within the UK, working on purchasing a few more in coming years. I am currently in 2024 back in consumer debt for a myriad of reasons, but I am on a journey to grow my personal wealth and achieve financial success through saving and investing for retirement by utilizing tax-efficient vehicles we have in the UK, and also through property. On this channel, I share videos weekly of personal finance journey and sharing my real numbers. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. All opinions shared in my videos are my own. Do your own research." So I'm going to go with that disclaimer on any of my Financial Friday lives, right? I am not a financial advisor. What I talk about on these lives, and I will talk about a myriad of different things, everything from savings accounts, high yield savings accounts, to retirement, to Roth conversions. I will talk about a myriad of different things for people who are starting their financial journey, to people who are looking at retirement, or maybe people in retirement. When I get to be, 65, I cannot contribute to my health savings account anymore. I recently learned that. There's a law that says you have to apply for Medicare. When you do that, you can no longer contribute money to your health savings account. Now, my health savings account, which is an HSA, I can invest that money in the stock market, and it's triple tax free when I pull that money out, as long as it's for a medical expense. So I keep all the receipts of anything I spend medically, and 20 years later, I could cash in that receipt after that money has grown in the stock market. But I recently learned that at 65, I cannot make any more contributions. So I'm contacting the company where I have my HSA, and I'm asking them, how do I stop the contributions? Now, I can stop the ones on my end, but because I'm a retired federal employee, I have a federal health coverage for retired federal employees. Well, the plan that I'm in, that insurance company puts $100 a month into my investments. So I chose a healthcare plan that puts $1,200 a year into my future investments. There were a couple of other plans there that were options, but they only put $800 a year into your investments. I chose the one that put in $1,200. So I have to figure out how to contact that insurance company. Now, during open season, I can change my insurance, and I probably will whenever I get to be 55. So, but the point is, all of these things I learned over time. See, I didn't like walk in here and go, well, I know this and I know that. No, I wish I had known when I was a federal employee about the HSA. I didn't know until I saw it on YouTube. So I learned a lot of this stuff on YouTube after I retired. So I was late to the HSA game. However, I'm maxing it out every year. Okay, we'll go to the next one because I was not planning on this live going this long. So we're just going to keep going. So Simply Fundamental. Her name is Regina. She's similar to my age, but she's a little bit younger. And she is financially free, her and her husband, but she is still working. And I'm just going to read this, and then I'm going to talk about her just a little bit. She says, welcome to my channel. sharing my love for personal finance with YouTube, working on a passion project, engaging in topics around money. My wish is that everyone gets their financial life on track and either begins or continues investing in their retirement and in building wealth. My husband and I are well on our way to being in the top 3% of all retirement balances. On Simply Fundamental, we talk all things personal finance and road to retirement in hopes to inspire savers. And then it talks about like and subscribe, and so that you can be a cheerleader as you grow your net worth. If a teacher and an executive assistant who mostly only ever earned ordinary income can build extraordinary wealth, you can too. That's why I watch her channel. She has a small channel, and I was sending her a message just the other day, and I said, I'm going to talk about you on my live. And she said, Daryl, I'm under the radar. So not many people know about her channel, but please go and check out her channel. You can tell that she's financially free. She's still working. She hasn't even retired yet. She could retire, right? But she just wishes to work, which is fine. Nobody says you have to retire. My thing is, I would love to see people retire early. And one of the books that I read was Quit Like a Millionaire. And that is this woman in Canada where her and her husband retired at the age of 30. In their 20s, they decided if we can put together $1 million portfolio by the time we're 30, we can retire. And then they wrote a book, and they've got a YouTube channel, Quit Like a Millionaire, all that stuff. Fabulous story. But what I learned from them is that if you live on a little bit of money, you could pay zero in taxes. And that's what I do. Now, it's not that I make a little bit of money, it's that I live on a little bit of money. And so I am doing different things, and we'll get into that in future lives, but I do different things to use the tax code to pay zero taxes. Am I at that point now? No. I'm working on it, right? These are all my future goals. Pay zero in taxes. My other future goal is to live on $900 a month. Can I do it? Yes, I could do it. Will I do it when I'm traveling? Absolutely not. So there's your caveat on that one. So another one is Elizabeth Loves Fitness. Now, here I'm calling Elizabeth out because she has been just a fabulous supporter of my channel. When nobody else was commenting on my channel, she was watching my videos. She is like, who did I call out earlier? Hold on. 713 Skywalker, right? These two people and T. I'll call out T. These people support my channel. I mean, every video. I just, I cannot believe when I'm a nobody with very few subscribers, they're there. They're there. So Elizabeth Loves Fitness. The reason that I like her channel is, and I'm going to get to Coach Mean Reen in a future live, right? Because she's somebody new that does fitness that I want to talk about in the future. So Coach Mean Reen, if you see this, I don't want you to think I've forgotten about you. But Elizabeth Loves Fitness. What I love about her channel is that she does fitness for people who are new at fitness or people who are old like me, right? I do fitness, but my knees cannot do jumping jacks. My knees cannot be bouncing up and down stairs, right? We bought a one-level house for retirement for a reason, because we knew when we got old, we do not want to be going up and down stairs. And so her channel is about mobility and physical fitness, and I just love it. And I love the fact that she supports my channel. So what she says is, hey there, fitness friends. My name is Elizabeth. I am a NSCA certified personal trainer, avid runner, 9-to-5 worker, and a mom. My goal is to help people reach their long-term fitness goals. On this channel, you'll find quick and effective workouts designed to fit into your busy lifestyle. So she does 10-minute workouts, she does 20-minute workouts. Those are what fits my lifestyle because I do things in 10-minute, 20-minute spurts. Like I meditate every morning for 20 minutes. I do things in 10-minute and 20-minute spurts. And she also says, whether you're a beginner or already started your fitness journey, you'll find workouts to help you reach your fitness goals. And so sometimes she has workouts that you can do in your office when you're at work. And so I'm in my office sitting here right now because this is where I sit all day. I mean, I can't tell you how many hours I sit in this chair at this desk looking at this computer. But it's a lot of hours every single day. And so I could sit in my chair and lift my legs and do that with her, for 10 minutes doing her video. She says, take a stack of books and just put the books above your head. So she has practical items that work for somebody with a busy schedule, and I appreciate that. So let's talk about one of the larger YouTube channels that I have been watching. I don't know how many years she's been on YouTube, but here's somebody who has started a movement on YouTube. And so I'm calling her out because, when somebody starts something like Chris, who started Are You Locked In? When somebody starts something like that, it's something special. Well, she started something on YouTube many, many years ago. And so her name is Mary, and I wrote down that she has 40,000 subscribers. And she quit her job a few years ago, and she just does social media. She has a couple of YouTube channels that I know about, but this is the one I want to talk about, which is called Pennies Not Perfection. And what it says here is, I paid off $82,000 in debt, built a $150,000 plus portfolio, and set my family on the path to financial independence. Thanks to budgeting and consistent small actions, I've made plenty of financial mistakes, but I also learned from them. Now I get to share what I've learned here on Pennies Not Perfection. You don't have to be perfect to win with money. You just have to be motivated and consistent. And she said, you'll see videos about budgeting, paying off debt, saving money, investing, home ownership, and financial apps and accounts like HSAs, 401ks, Roth IRAs. Little actions we take with our money compound to hit big money goals. That's what I want to really share on my channel. And that's why I love her channel. Her husband still works. They have at least 2 children that I know about. But what she started was Transfer Tuesdays. And people refer to Mary at Pennies Not Perfection on a bunch of my different YouTube channels as Transfer Tuesdays. So Kathy at the Cronson family that I talked about earlier, she comes on and does Transfer Tuesdays. Miranda in the UK, she comes on and does Transfer Tuesdays. And they all say, well, it started with Mary at Pennies Not Perfection. A lot of the YouTube channels that I watch do Transfer Tuesdays. And Transfer Tuesdays is where you move just a small amount of money from wherever towards your goal. Some of the cash stuffing channels may do that. It's all about small wins in personal finance. I didn't start with a lot of money. I started with very small items. First, let me pay off my debt. That was my big thing in the beginning because I owed back child support. I owed the IRS. Having never filed taxes, I owed the IRS a bunch of money. I learned something about the IRS. You can only go back 3 years for the money that they owe you when you file back taxes. They can go back 9 years on the money you owed them. So do not play with the IRS, okay? I do not play today with the IRS. So my first thing was pay off debt. Then it started, well, how much can we save, right? So of course, the employer match. That is a big deal in the beginning. Always get the employer match. If you don't save anything else, get the employer match. And then learn whatever other investment strategies there are out there. So, Mary, I wanted to make sure I called you out. Her and her husband, they just bought a second home, right? And so they had a house, and they were paying down that house, right? Well, they found a house in another neighborhood that they liked more than their current primary residence. And so she just decided with her husband that they are going to keep their primary residence and turn it into a rental property. So she's just starting in the rental property game. She also, and this is all like in the past month, that her and her husband have bought this new home. But she's also talking about how fast she can pay off this new home because she does not like debt. And I get it. That's perfectly good. And I'm with her, right? I am going to be paying off rental properties along with Mary at Pennies Not Perfection, paying off her rental property and her primary home. See, that's the thing about me and these folks that I connect with on YouTube. I'm in. And I'm right there with you trying to get to the same goals you're trying to get to. You know, one of the things I'll talk about, a lot of people are not retired yet. And I'm retired, but I'm still working. But when I get to Social Security, I'm thinking I'm probably going to stop working. I think that I've made enough money, I have enough in investments that I could stop working and just enjoy life. And a lot of people are telling me, Daryl, you should just stop working. Well, I'm still working because I love what I do. And I love the idea of a side hustle funding my investments. That's just how I roll. So we are finally, everyone, on to the last person that I want to talk about in this. I'm glad I only picked 5 people because I said, well, if I ramble, maybe I'll only get through 5. Well, apparently that's what happened. So this person is Jenny Logan, right? She owns a financial planning company. And one of my videos, I talked about looking for a certified financial planner. I never believed in certified financial planners. I always thought I can manage my finances on my own. Why would I give my money to somebody else and then give them a percentage of my portfolio, let's say stock market portfolio? Well, I will tell you, first of all, I don't have a stock market portfolio big enough to even warrant what these people do, right? But I went on this search and I made a YouTube video about this where I went to 3 different financial planners asking them to try and help me with a plan for my rental properties for the future. How do I exit the rental property game in the future? And nobody could help me. However, I did a 15-minute free consultation with Jenny, and she was the best out of all 3 of the people. Now, she has a YouTube channel. It's called at Chisholm Financial. And again, it's in the description. But she owns that financial planning company. And I love women-owned businesses, right? One of the things I studied for my PhD was employee-owned businesses. And so I love, one, when marginalized people own a business. And that's why I want to call everybody in my community owners. I love people who own their life and own their business. And so she owns this financial planning firm, and she can do a la carte financial planning, where you do not have to just give her your portfolio and say, here, manage all my money for me and tell me what to do. You can choose individual items, and she can customize the plan that you have for your financial future. And so I've been following her channel for a long time because she was the best out of all of them. one person I went to, he told me, he said, unless you have $250,000 in the stock market, and most of them, it's 500,000, it's millions of dollars, most of these financial planning firms. This one, because this person's in my town and I was looking for somebody face to face because people recommended, no, don't go to anybody online. Get somebody you can walk into their office. Well, I did that. I got an appointment with this guy and he said, you have real estate. We can't help you. Everyone wants to manage your money in a portfolio. And I do not have $250,000 in the stock market. You know, if I ever did have that much, it would be in retirement accounts, which is a whole nother thing for another live, is that all of my money that's in the stock market are in retirement accounts at the places where I teach. Because again, I learn late and I learn at the pace that I learn. After I had been there for some years, I see some email that says a part-time professor can put money in their retirement program. I did not know that, right? So another thing we'll get into another day is the difference between retirement accounts. I have 457s and I have 403Bs. The IRS considers those two different retirement accounts. Therefore, I can put up to $30,000 each and max out two different retirement accounts. So do I have both of those? Yes, I do. Do I make that kind of money at both of those schools? No, I don't. But the point is, I can max out in pre-tax money $60,000 a year. That's what you learn on YouTube. There you go. So I want to just read, before I end this, what her description says, which is learn to simplify your finances and focus on what truly matters. I am Jenny Logan, certified financial planner with over a decade of experience. My company has helped hundreds of clients build tailored financial plans. I break down complex strategies into actionable steps, making them easy to integrate into your busy life. My mission, help you achieve financial success and live the life you desire. I've worked with diverse clients across the U.S., from young professionals to retirees, gaining insights into financial challenges at different life stages. I've developed universal financial principles that work for everyone, covering budgeting, debt management, investments, and retirement planning. On this channel, I'll share these time-tested methods to help you build a strong financial foundation. And then it says, join me as we navigate the path to financial success together. So I hope that you've sort of seen the theme that I have financial planners that I watch on YouTube. And the Money Guy Show, they are Bound Wealth financial planners. This is Jenny Logan, a certified financial planner. I learn from these people what to do with my money. If I ever have that 250,000 like in a brokerage account, you know, that someone could manage, I might go talk to them. You know, I have a problem giving up like 1% of my money. You guys know I'm cheap. We don't do that. We don't give up 1%, you know, of our money. We just don't do that. But I love the information that these people have shared. You know, on the Money Guy Show, they help you build wealth so that someday when your wealth becomes so complex and you need a co-pilot, you will come to them because they gave you free information to help you build that wealth. And that's right. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. So these are the 5 people that I've talked about today. I have no idea what all has been said in the chat because I have not been able to read the chat. The best I've been able to do is just look at the camera and read from my notes. So this being my first scheduled live, we will now have regular Friday scheduled lives. Whether I am traveling, whether I am sitting here at home, And you might say to yourself, because I need to explain this before I go, why did you pick 10:15 Central Time on a Friday to do a live? A lot of people are doing lives in the evening after everybody gets off of work. Well, one, I'm retired, so I don't have to worry about getting off from work. Two, my puppy is in all-day puppy daycare on Fridays, and my wife is at work at least a half a day on Fridays. So I have the entire house to myself with peace and quiet on Fridays. So there you have it. This is my zone to get in here with you all. So we'll keep doing this. I will keep bringing you channels that I like. Kendi K will be there. I've already talked about Life with T 76. She's killing it. She's killing it. She's a leader, and she's showing young women what is possible in the workplace. Not only moving up within her organization, but also with her finances. You know, she has, I mean, just fabulous finances, way better than I'll ever have. I mean, she's way more disciplined than I have. She led our little group, right? We have this tiny little group on YouTube, and she did 75 hard, right? A couple of us tried 75 soft, right? Because I'm old. I did 75 soft. Well, I didn't last but a week. Then I tried it again. Maybe I lasted 3 days. She made the whole 75 hard. So she's our little group leader. So there you go. We call her Fearless Leader because we're just a tiny group of tiny YouTube channels, you know, and now we're branching out. So thank you, T. And Kendi, thank you for interviewing me on Monday. I hope everyone will go and look at that interview of me on Monday, because you'll see that I'm starting to become a little, just a tiny bit more comfortable in front of the YouTube camera. But if you go back and look at a year ago when I made that very first video, oh, it'll make your brain hurt. It really will, because you can tell I was terrified, and I just didn't think that I could get in front of people and put myself out there. And so here we are a year later, and my goal was make one video a week. A lot of people make 2 videos a week, and their channels grow and blow up, and a lot of people are now doing lives. And I just wanted a channel where I felt comfortable once a week. And so I will keep coming back once a week. I may make videos because I still want to do long form recorded videos that have teaching content in them. So I'll still do those, but I want to make sure I'm here live every single week. So we have talked for, oh my God, let's see, a little over an hour, I believe it is. Yes, a little over an hour. I cannot believe that I went, yes, T has a channel. It's at T76, at Life with T 76. And if you go to my live that was recorded on the 30th of May, I have her full length in my description. And so, yes, just awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm going to say goodbye because I didn't plan on talking this long. I don't know if my poll ever even worked on here. And if it didn't, I will figure it out next time, because I'm flying by the seat of my pants with you guys. And I keep saying this is the last thing that I'm going to share. You know, you see my Turks and Caicos t-shirt. You may see that a whole bunch of more times because this is my favorite shirt. And because I'm a minimalist, I have very few clothes. You know, I don't need a closet full of clothes. So I have, I don't know how many shirts, 10, 15, a whole bunch of Harley motorcycle t-shirts. But you're going to see me in the same shirts over and over and over again. So I'm just warning everybody that, yeah, I just have very few things and needs in life. I just don't. So I cannot believe we did this. We finally made it. It took a year, but I'm slow but steady. That's one of the things you'll find out about me. Slow but steady. So I'll get there in the end. I'm that tortoise in the race. I'll get there at the end. So thank you all for hearing this much about me and these channels that I liked. I'll bring some more channels next week. And then I've got 3 sections to my file. Channels that I watched before I got in this Are You Locked In movement. Then I've got channels that really support my channel. I'm going to give them a shout out. And then I'm going to talk about channels that I found in the Locked In movement. This is a big file. It's pages and pages of channels. So trust me, I will support your channel. I watch YouTube 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, who knows, right? So that's a lot of watch hours that I can get you. And I will. I promise I will. So I'm going to say goodbye. So I want, and Positive Crash Outs. She's on my list. She is on my list because she has affirmations, and I love affirmations. You guys will see other playlists that I have, which I've learned through being in this Are You Locked In movement and by other channels that I found recently that teach you how to grow your YouTube channel, that you can put a playlist and make it public. I had private playlists of different things that I just never made public. But even though those people get the watch hours, it's in your playlist. And so people will come and watch some of your videos as they come and look at your playlist. I just learned slow but steady is how I'm going to grow my channel. So I'll share more things that I've learned because I'm learning things every day in these lives. So thank you everyone for coming. I don't know how to say goodbye, but I'm going to click this X in the top corner and then I'm out. Okay, see y'all next week.